Bryan Hodgson returns to Tuscaloosa, this time leading the South Florida Bulls as Alabama welcomes another former assistant into Coleman Coliseum. I'm Charles Branch. This is Crimson Crossover Cross Court, and I'm pleased to be joined by Brady Maffei of the Oracle, the South Florida student newspaper. Brady's a senior, and he's the basketball beat writer. Brady, how are you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Good, good. Well, I appreciate you joining me. Before we kind of get into South Florida and the game, tell us a little bit more about yourself as far as covering this team, but your interest in South Florida, your interest in basketball, and why you wanted to take on this opportunity writing for the Oracle.
No, yeah, I started writing with the Oracle this past summer, and then when I applied, I 100% wanted to do basketball. But obviously, at the start of the school year, you're not able to write about basketball too much, just like some recruiting stuff here and there. But so I started off with the football, and then now that basketball is like officially here, I'm like really excited to get going on it.
Well, as I led off with Bryan Hodgson, he's in his first year at South Florida, a name Alabama fans are very familiar with. Tell us a little bit as far as the start of the seasons for South Florida and also the reception as far as when Bryan Hodgson was hired at South Florida to take over the program.
No, yeah, I feel like so far the reception's been good around Coach Hodgson. He came in like set a standard that he wanted in the opening press conference, and he's really also taken some things from former coach Amir Abdur-Rahim that passed away, and I feel like that's what fans really wanted to see because Amir Abdur-Rahim really turned this program around. Before that, you could see just a bunch of inconsistency from the USF basketball program, and Amir came in instantly, 25 wins, American Conference regular season champions, led us to the NIT, and then unfortunately he passed away. So Bryan Hodgson coming in, being the first head coach that was officially hired since his passing, was a big some big shoes to fill, I'd say, but he's definitely done a good job, and I'd see the fans have really been liking it so far.
But I know South Florida comes into this game, they're 6-4, but it's a really good schedule that South Florida had put together, playing some really well-known mid-majors. I know they've played Utah State, BCU, Charleston. What's your assessment as far as the team through their first 10 games?
No, yeah, 100%. It's been a rough schedule. I think they're right now sitting like 31st in strength of schedule, 30th. It's definitely been a rough one. When they went to battle for Atlantis, that was a really rough stretch. Went 1-2, went down by as much as 16 in every single game. And then Coach Hodgson even said after that third game, he said, we easily could have gone in and played 7, 8 inferior home opponents and thought we were a great basketball team. But playing like those tough games, like from the battle for Atlantis, Oklahoma State, Alabama coming up, you really get to see what your team looks like because you want to be able to be playing in March. So you don't want to get smacked around in league play. And that league play is where USF wants to get their bid in for the March Madness. So it was really important to come out and play those tough of games.
That's something that Coach Hodgson and Coach Oates share is they like to play tough opponents, get exposed, and figure out what they need to fix as they get into conference play. I know
100%.
Coach Hodgson brought in some not only some transfers from across the country, but a couple guys from Arkansas State followed him. One of those being Joseph Pinion, who I'm familiar with. He started at Arkansas, then went to Arkansas State, is now leading South Florida in scoring. How has he been as far as getting in to South Florida? And just tell us a little bit about him.
No, he's a great player, an elite shooter too. But some like at first it was a little rough against George Washington. It was a really rough game for him. You could see the fans starting to like tell him not to shoot as much, but Coach Hodgson fully supports his guy. He even said like through his cold stretches, I'll continue to let him shoot. He has the green light. And that's the biggest thing for a shooter in basketball is from your coach is you don't want him to lose confidence in you. He wants you to keep shooting. And over, I'd say this past like couple weeks, he's really improved in that. You can see his confidence has skyrocketed. He's taking no dip threes in the corner. He's really shown improvement.
In addition to Joseph, obviously, what we remember as Coach Hodgson was a great recruiter. So I know there's great talent on the South Florida team. What are a few other guys that Alabama fans should familiarize themselves with before this game Wednesday night?
No, yeah, coach definitely throughout the season he's been adjusting his rotations. Like his starting lineup's been the same throughout, but the the bench unit has definitely been getting switched up. We have 5 freshmen on our bench right now, so I know that's and with along with like 8, 9 seniors. So it's definitely rough trying to get those freshmen in there. But you can see at the beginning of the year, he put Caleb Sanders in there, gave him his run. Gavin Hightower's been a guard from Sierra Canyon. He's been getting run throughout the year. He had an American Conference Freshman of the Week, and then most recently, Tristan Beckford finally got his first like real showing against Charleston this past week, and he put up 17 points in like 20 something minutes, and like before that, he had only played 6 minutes the entire season. So I feel like Tristan Beckford's really like it'll be interesting to see how he does if coach will play him as much as he did against Charleston at a game in Alabama, as like that's how good of a team as Alabama is.
With Alabama and Nate Oates, they talk about playing fast, talk about shooting a lot of threes, getting to the rim, and shooting free throws. Is Bryan Hodgson doing some of the similar things at South Florida that Nate Oates has done at Alabama over the past couple of years?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he even talks about how much he learned from Nate Oates, and especially when he first got here. They're both really fast teams, love to shoot the ball, and I could honestly see this game being a really high scoring game. I wouldn't be surprised both teams going into the 80-point mark for sure.
So as a South Florida supporter, even though that you're the beat writer, and you're a student there, so I know you would like to see South Florida come out and win. But what are your expectations going into the game against Alabama, and what would you like to see from the Bulls taking on a top 15, top 20 opponent?
I just want to see them compete like from the start, from the finish. They've been a really like stretchy team throughout this year. Like they'll definitely go through some cold stretches, like we saw in the battle for Atlantis. But just compete throughout the entire game. They've had some rough ends to first halves. Like they were competing really well at Oklahoma State. And towards the end of that first half, Oklahoma State brought themselves right back into it, and then it trickled in the second half to where Oklahoma State ended up getting the win. But they just compete from the first to the last whistle, and are able to just stay with Alabama's high pace, both top 20 teams in tempo. Um, I really could see this being a close game, and hopefully a big win for USF in their for the net rankings.
Yeah, well, I know last year's team, Arkansas State with Coach Hodgson, battled back to make it a 9-point game. I believe the
Yeah.
game was tied at some point. So he definitely knows the system. He knows to prepare for it. And I know he's got some really good players. As he keeps leaning on those players, getting past this game, you mentioned South Florida's in the American Conference. They play Memphis, Wichita State, UAB. So there's some familiarity as far as some of the opponents that are in the American Conference. What are kind of your expectations for South Florida once it gets into conference play? And I know you're hoping for an NCAA tournament appearance, but what do you believe is realistic for South Florida this year?
I truly believe an American Conference title is realistic for the South Florida Bulls team. Um, they got preseason poll. I think they were number two in the American, and then them and Memphis are the only teams that have had top 100, top 50, top 30 strength of schedules. Everyone else in the Americans 115 and above. So I feel like really like that type of strength of schedule is really going to be a big part in the league play, and we'll be able to see that all play out.
But as we've mentioned a couple times, you're a writer for the Oracle, and I do want to ask you, as far as your writing career, you personally, where are you hoping to take your sports writing in the future?
Honestly, if I could sports write for a team, sports write for just a company in general, that's honestly my main goal. I've dabbled in the like some like standing in front of the camera and news stuff. I'm definitely more on the print side, print writing, print journalism. So wherever like that takes me, I'll take any opportunity I can get for sure.
Well, as your career keeps growing, where can these Alabama fans or basketball fans that are checking out this episode keep up with you and see how you're continuing to grow your writing career?
No, yeah, I'm just starting up all my like social medias. Like, I just got my Twitter set up. It's my first and last name, Brady Maffei, Maffei. All my articles are posted on the Oracle. So if you just go to the men's basketball section, you'll see all my articles there. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
We'll make sure to put your Twitter account in the show notes so people can go follow you and keep up with the articles that you're putting together, not just for South Florida, but for hopefully some other teams in the future as well. Brady, really appreciate your time, giving us the insight against South Florida. I do expect it to be a great game. I personally hope Alabama pulls it out, but it would not surprise me, as you mentioned, for it to be a close game on Wednesday night.
No, yeah, I really appreciate you having me. I really enjoyed talking some ball with you.
Thank you.